Vanessa's voice trembled. So you killed her and faked it as an accident. Your own wife. Vincent leaned forward, eyes blazing. I protected you. She would have turned you against me. She already had. Tears welled in Vanessa's eyes. She wanted to protect me from you. And look how that turned out, Vincent said coldly. You became me. No. Vanessa shouted. Then why are you holding that gun, Bambina? He whispered. Because justice failed? Because you needed to feel what I felt? Go ahead. Pull the trigger. Show me you're my daughter. Marcus moved forward. Vanessa, don't. But then Vincent's hand moved, fast, toward the gun on his desk. Marcus turned, aiming. A single gunshot shattered the air. Vincent slumped backward, a red bloom spreading across his chest. Smoke. Silence. Sirens outside. Vanessa stood frozen, gun trembling in her hand, eyes wide in disbelief. Marcus lowered his weapon slowly. The last bodyguard, still alive, fired once more from the doorway, missing Vanessa but hitting the wall. Marcus turned and shot him down instantly. Then, nothing but silence again. Vincent coughed weakly, blood staining his shirt. He smiled up at her, that same cruel, familiar smile. You finally did it, he rasped. My perfect little girl. Vanessa's hand shook harder. You're a monster. If you want to know why Vanessa shot and killed her own father, in cold blood, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss the stories we bring your way every week. This is not just a story about betrayal. It's a story about love, power, secrets, and the darkness that hides behind family walls. Because when you're born into crime, sometimes the only way out is blood. So let's go back to where it all began. To that moment Vanessa found out the truth about the man she called father. Vanessa was 8 when her father first called her into his office. She hated that office, the smell of leather and cigars, the sharp gleam of money stacked on shelves, the way his eyes measured her like she was already part of some deal. Sit, Vanessa, Vincent said, not waiting for her answer. Do you know why I send you to school every day? She crossed her arms. To keep me out of trouble? He chuckled, low and dangerous. Out of trouble? No, little one. To prepare you. One day people will try to take what's mine and you'll need to protect yourself. Protect us. Us? She asked, her voice small. Me, he corrected, leaning closer. You are my legacy. My only. My responsibility. Your mother, she tried to save you once. You wouldn't even remember. That's why she's gone. Vanessa blinked. She didn't know what to say. Fear, confusion, anger, they swirled together, but she swallowed it down. She learned early not to cry. Not in front of him. Years passed. Harvard came. Her father insisted. I don't want the streets shaping you. I want the law shaping you, because law is power. And power is necessary. At first, Vanessa thought he was proud. He attended every graduation, every seminar, every moot court debate, watching her as if she were a chess piece on a board only he could see. Then she got her first DA internship. She thrived. Brilliant, precise, unrelenting. She brought criminals to justice, unaware that some of them once signed papers that had lined her father's pockets. Vincent noticed. He didn't like it. You're crossing a line, he said one night over dinner, dark city lights flashing through the windows. I built this empire. I protected this family. You're stepping into dangerous territory. Vanessa looked at him, calm but firm. I'm doing my job. Justice doesn't care who your father is. Vincent slammed his hand on the table. Justice? Justice will bury you if you stand against me, Vanessa. Don't forget what happens to those who betray me. The words hit her differently than when she was a child. Fear didn't paralyze her anymore. It made her steady. She learned to hide anger under a polite smile. It was also during this time that Marcus Reed appeared. Federal agent. Tall, steady, calm, everything her father wasn't. He was investigating Vincent, of course, but with Vanessa, there was no pretense. You're brilliant, he told her once at a city conference, leaning casually against the railing. You have no idea how dangerous your father is. Vanessa smirked. I have an idea. But I also know he can't touch me if I'm careful. Marcus studied her. Careful isn't enough. You need someone who watches your back. Someone who won't be afraid to cross the line for you. You mean like you? She teased, but inside she recognized what she had been missing her whole life. Someone who wasn't Vincent. Someone who could love her without fear or possession. Their relationship developed quietly. Lunches became dinners. Dinners became nights out. Secrets shared. He never pressed her for more than she was willing to give, yet he was always there. Always protective. Vanessa's mind was always calculating. Marrying Marcus wasn't just love, it was strategy. Her father's list of enemies? Marcus was on it. She knew the risk. But she also knew what she wanted: freedom, revenge, justice for herself. "I'm not marrying him for love," she whispered to her reflection one night, adjusting her wedding dress. "I'm marrying him to destroy the man who made me." Marcus kissed her temple. "You look beautiful. I trust you." Vanessa nodded, letting the warmth of that trust settle around her. Inside, though, fire burned. She had a plan. She would follow her father's empire from the inside, gather every secret, every lie, every weapon he had hidden, and use it against him. And she would not hesitate when the moment came. The scene cuts here. Fades slightly to black. Narration: Vanessa Moretti didn't marry for love. She married to destroy the man who made her. But to understand how she reached the moment she pulled the trigger, we have to go back even further, to the heart of her father's world, and the daughter he thought he controlled. Vanessa leaned back in her office chair, the courtroom buzzing behind the glass. Papers shuffled, heels clicked, arguments echoed, but she barely noticed. Her assistant, Claire, tapped on the glass. "Ms. Moretti, your father just called." Again. Vanessa didn't flinch. "Let him leave a message." "Sir." "Vincent," Claire corrected nervously. "He sounded upset." Vanessa smirked. "Upset? That's new." She picked up her pen, pretending to review case notes. Later that evening, Vincent's voice thundered over the line. "Vanessa, I want a word now." She didn't answer. "I don't care that you're busy. I built everything around you, and you're making enemies." "I'm doing my job, Dad," she said calmly, leaning against her desk. "Some of those men were your associates. I prosecute them because the law is law. That's my job. Not yours." "Law? The law bends for people like me. You think you're better than me? You think you can fight me?" "I don't think," she said. "I know." A long pause. Then he hissed, venom in every word, "If you ever stand against me, Vanessa, I'll bury you like I buried your mother." Her hand didn't tremble. Not even a fraction. Instead, she smiled, a slow, cold smile. "I'm not afraid of you." She hung up. The next morning, Marcus was at her apartment reviewing files. "Your father is escalating," he said, glancing at her. "I've been following him. He's sloppy, distracted. He's making mistakes." Vanessa traced a finger along a folder. "And I've been collecting. Every threat, every bribe, every lie, it all goes in here." He looked at her, a little concerned. "You're not going to cross a line, are you?" "I've been crossing lines my whole life," she replied, eyes steady. "I just never let anyone see." Later that week, a man from one of her cases, connected to Vincent's empire, tried to bribe her. "Ms. Moretti, think of your career," he warned. "Do what your father wants. Drop the case." Vanessa leaned forward. "Do you really think I don't know who my father is? I know all about him. And you're not worth the fear he tries to inspire." The man paled. You're making a mistake." "Try me," she said, standing and walking away. Back at home, Marcus watched her from the couch. "You're a storm in a teacup," he murmured. "I'm not a storm," she said. "I'm a hurricane." And he's about to find out. One night, Vincent showed up at her Harvard reunion event, his smile sharp, his presence suffocating. "Vanessa," he said, voice dripping charm and menace. "I heard you're becoming quite the little star at the DA's office. Proud of you. But remember every move you make. I'm watching." Vanessa's smile was thin. "Good. I'm glad you're paying attention. That way, when I'm done, you'll see everything I've learned from you." Vincent's eyes narrowed. "Do not test me, Vanessa. One misstep and I won't hesitate." "Neither will I," she replied, voice soft but deadly. Marcus stepped in, casually placing a hand on her shoulder. "Let's go. The night's over." As they walked away, Vanessa whispered, "One day, Marcus. One day he won't see it coming." He looked at her. "I know." That night, she pored over files, emails, bank statements, every paper trail Vincent had left. Each one was a story of betrayal, greed, and death. She cataloged everything meticulously. Each name, each connection, each crime, a chain of evidence, a map leading straight to Vincent. "You're turning into him," Marcus said later, watching her work, "but smarter. Calculated. Cold. I'm turning into what he made me, Vanessa corrected. And soon, I'll turn it back on him. Vanessa Moretti wasn't just fighting crime, she was preparing to confront the crime she was born into. And the man at the center of it all? Her father. Vanessa slammed her laptop shut. Marcus, sitting beside her, frowned. Another letter? He asked. Yes, Vanessa said, voice sharp. Same handwriting. Same threats. You can't hide from me. Your husband's life is mine. Marcus ran a hand over his face. Vincent's escalating. He's sending his boys, Vanessa. We need to stay alert. She leaned against him, frustrated. I know. I feel it in my bones. He's obsessed. Obsessed with controlling everything I do, even my happiness. You're not alone, Marcus said, taking her hand. I'm here. Always. Vanessa laughed softly, leaning into his shoulder. You make it sound easy. Love in the middle of all this danger isn't easy, Marcus. He smiled, brushing a strand of hair from her face. Nothing worth fighting for is easy. Especially when it's you. She blushed, hiding her face against his chest. Stop saying things like that. My father, he's dangerous. He won't stop until... Her voice trailed off. Until what? Marcus asked gently. Until he breaks me or kills you, she admitted. Marcus tightened his grip on her hand. Then we won't give him the satisfaction. Not one chance. We fight together. You and me. 2 weeks later, Vincent struck again. This time a break-in. His men slipped into their apartment while Marcus and Vanessa were at the kitchen, laughing over coffee. You hear that? Vanessa whispered. Marcus moved silently to the window. Someone's inside. Vanessa grabbed her gun instinctively. We're not letting them. A vase shattered in the living room. Vanessa fired 2 precise shots. The intruders scrambled, leaving behind a trail of papers and threats. One note was left on the table. You're mine. And soon, your husband will pay for prying into my world. Marcus picked it up, reading slowly. He hates me. Hates us. Hates this life you chose. Hates that I'm part of it. Vanessa's eyes hardened. Good. Let him hate. I don't care anymore. If he wants a war, he'll get it. But he won't win. Not this time. Their love deepened in the face of danger. Nights spent planning legal strategies and safety measures became nights of whispered laughter, stolen kisses, and quiet declarations. You're ridiculous, Vanessa said one night, her face glowing in the dim lamplight. You make me feel safe and crazy at the same time. Marcus smiled, brushing his lips across her forehead. Good. That means I'm doing my job. Your job? She teased. Your job is to love me, remember? Exactly, he said, grinning. And maybe protect you from homicidal fathers. Vanessa laughed, letting herself sink into the warmth. I think I could get used to that. Wedding planning brought another wave of tension. Invitations were sent. Her father refused to attend, a fact he made known through a venomous letter. You disgust me, Vanessa. Marrying him will be the day I see your husband die. Enjoy your wedding while you can. Vincent. Marcus read the note, jaw tight. He means it. He's not bluffing. Vanessa folded the letter calmly. Then we make sure he's not in a position to do anything. Marcus smiled at her courage. You're incredible, Vanessa. Even with all this, you keep your head. Your heart. And you don't run. I don't run from love, she whispered. Not this time. Not you. Not anyone. The tension didn't vanish after the ceremony. Threats continued. Letters, anonymous phone calls, even men following her to work. Marcus and Vanessa coordinated constantly, sharing codes, safe houses, and contingency plans. But even with danger lurking, the love between them strengthened, each kiss a defiance against Vincent's cruelty. You know, Vanessa said one night, leaning against Marcus' chest, I never thought I'd get to live like this. Laugh like this. Love like this. Neither did I, Marcus replied softly. But we're here. Together. That's the victory. Vanessa looked out the window, shadows of the city flickering over her face. He won't give up, she said, quiet but certain. Not until he's ruined everything. But we're ready. Let him try. We're stronger. Together. Marcus replied. And in that moment, despite all the fear, the hatred, and the danger looming over them, Vanessa Moretti finally felt alive. 3 days to the court hearing. Vincent has sent his lawyer, Ethan, Vanessa's crush when she was little. Ethan? Vanessa whispered to herself when she saw her father's lawyer. Ethan grew up with Vanessa, and just like Vanessa, Vincent sent him to study criminal law. The only difference between them was the fact that Ethan was the son of one of Vincent's gang leaders. He was a bright child, and Vincent capitalized on his birth's vulnerability to involve him in a life of crime. Ethan was the person her father wanted her to marry, and she loves him, but she knows that marriage to him will only tighten her father's grip on her. So, she had to marry someone she didn't love because she hated her father. She sat in the courtroom, ready to defend her client from the DA, whose son was killed in a crime linked to Vincent's gang activities in the city. Ethan, facing the judge, said, "The case brought against my client, Mr. Vincent Moretti, is a legal businessman who has helped this city in many ways. You know Mr. Vincent for this philanthropy, and you know how exposed he is to crime gangs who want him under their wings." Standing with the confidence of a man who knew what he was doing but still told lies to defend a criminal, Vanessa kept looking at him with admiration for his confidence and brilliance, but she had questions. Was he still defending a criminal because Vincent still had a hold on him? Or was he already in love with the criminal life and the luxury that came along with it? Vanessa was beaten by the brilliance of Ethan, and Vincent didn't spare a moment to mock her. The second hearing was adjourned for 3 weeks. "I need to gather more evidence," Vanessa said to Marcus. "Yes, definitely do. You were beaten with more false evidence and witnessed by Ethan and your father. I hate that he gets to see the sign of defeat in my eyes in the courtroom. I felt weak, Marcus. You gave it your best, babe. We need to dig deeper. I've exhausted every channel of witnesses and evidence. Vincent keeps blocking me out. He is too good to be caught." Marcus looked down. With his work at the feds, Vanessa wasn't lying. They've spent years trying to pin him down. Vanessa opened the car door when her phone rang. "I need to pick this, Marcus." "Hello. This is Vanessa from the D. How may I help you?" "Vanessa, it's your nanny Eunice. I left a recording for you at the playground by the little oak tree you planted. I can't help more than this. Be safe, darling. Your father is a crazy man. I fear for my life right now." Vanessa always recorded her calls, so she felt relief the moment Madame Eunice ended the call. Vanessa drove through the narrow streets of Brooklyn, her heart pounding with each turn. Madame Eunice's voice replayed in her head, cracked, trembling, scared. "I fear for my life right now." Her hands tightened on the wheel. Eunice was more than a nanny. She was the only piece of her mother that remained alive. The woman who brushed her hair on school mornings and told her, "Never let darkness feel at home in you, my love." Now the darkness was everywhere, and it had her father's face. She parked across the street from Vincent's mansion, the same house that once felt like a fairy tale and now felt like a graveyard. 2 guards were at the gate, but they knew her. They always did. No one dared stop the boss's daughter. Vincent was already waiting when she entered, in his silk robe, sitting by the grand piano, sipping whiskey. He smiled. "The prodigal daughter returns." "Don't flatter yourself," Vanessa said, dropping her purse on the couch. Vincent's laughter filled the room, low, confident, cruel. "You sound tense, Bambina. Court didn't go well?" She looked at him sharply. "You sent Ethan." He tilted his glass. "A good lawyer. And an old friend." "An old puppet, you mean?" "Puppet or not, he's loyal. Something you've never learned to be." She crossed her arms. "You mean like Eunice?" For a moment Vincent froze, only for a second, but she caught it. "What about her?" he asked, voice soft, measured. She said nothing, turned and started for her room. Vincent studied her for a moment. "Why are you really here? Can't a daughter visit her father?" "Not when she's working for the DA." Their eyes locked. Neither blinked. "Careful," Vincent said finally. "You're walking a thin line, Vanessa. Don't let your hate blind you to family." She smiled coldly. "Family?" Vincent's smirk faltered for the briefest second, but he quickly regained composure. "You should leave before I lose my patience." Vanessa grabbed her purse, turned, and walked out without another word. But in her chest, her pulse was a drum. She had seen it, that flicker in his eyes when she mentioned Eunice. He knew. It was past midnight when Vanessa reached the old playground near the house she grew up in. The wind howled softly through the swings. She found the oak tree easily, the one her mother had helped her plant at age 6. There, beneath a small pile of leaves, she found a plastic bag, and inside it, a flash drive and a note. "Vanessa, if you're reading this, I'm gone. I couldn't save your mother, but I tried to protect you. Your father isn't who you think he is. This recording is the truth. Be careful, darling. Don't let him see you coming." Her eyes blurred with tears. She plugged the flash drive into her laptop right there in the car. The file was only 5 minutes long, a recording, grainy but clear enough to freeze her blood. Vincent's voice. And her mother's. "Vincent, you think you can run from me? With my daughter?" Elena, she's not your property, Vincent. She's a child, she deserves a life away from this. Vincent, you're not taking her anywhere. You should have listened. Elena, please, Vincent. Vincent, I warned you. Elena walked out of the room. Vincent, hey Mark. My wife is a target now. She's going to pick Vanessa from school. Trip the wires in the brake pad. I want it to look like an accident. Mark, yes boss. Silence. Then a faint, broken cry, a child's cry. Vanessa's hands shook as she closed her laptop. The pieces she'd been chasing for years suddenly fit together in one horrifying picture. Her mother's death, the accident, the silence, the cover-up, all of it was him. Her father. By morning Madame Eunice was dead. Heart failure, they said again. But Vanessa knew. She stood outside the hospital room watching the doctors wheel the body away, and something inside her snapped. Marcus found her in the hallway, trembling, her eyes hollow. Vanessa. He killed her, she whispered. He killed them both. Marcus tried to hold her, but she pushed him away. I'm done running through courts and laws. He owns all of that. He plays the system like a piano and we keep dancing to his tune. Vanessa, think. I have. All night. She turned to him, voice like steel. I'm ending this. Marcus looked at her, recognizing the calm that comes before a storm. Vanessa, whatever you're planning. I'm not planning, she said coldly. I'm doing. She walked away before he could answer. 3 nights before the court hearing, Vincent hosted a small dinner at the mansion for his inner circle. The place was glowing with laughter, wine, and the illusion of peace. When Vanessa arrived unannounced, he welcomed her like a proud father. Bambina, he said, raising his glass, come join the celebration. She smiled faintly. Celebrating what? The inevitable victory, of course. Ethan was there, sitting beside Vincent, his eyes heavy with something she couldn't read, guilt or pity, she wasn't sure. Vanessa, he said quietly, you shouldn't be here. She ignored him and sat across from her father. I just came to say good luck, she said, eyes on Vincent. You'll need it. Vincent laughed. I never need luck. I make my own. Not this time, she whispered. He studied her, smiling, but there was a flicker of unease in his gaze. You think you've found something? Maybe, she said, standing slowly. Maybe not. You'll know soon enough. She turned to leave but stopped by the door. Oh, and father? Yes. She looked back, her eyes like cold fire. You shouldn't have killed Eunice. For the first time Vincent didn't smile. That night, Vanessa stood outside the mansion again. Same spot, same gates, same guards. Only this time she wasn't there to visit. The flash drive sat in her pocket. The gun Marcus had given her for protection lay heavy in her purse. 3 days to the court hearing, 3 days before her father would walk free again. And this time she wasn't going to let him. The phone rang at exactly 7:42 p.m. Vanessa almost didn't pick up, her hands were still trembling from crying. Hello? A man's voice came through, cautious but steady. Hey Vanessa. It's me. Daniel. My mom is Eunice. Her breath caught. She sat down slowly on the edge of the couch, gripping the phone like it was her only anchor. Daniel, she whispered, her voice cracking. I'm so sorry. Your mother, she didn't deserve that. I know, he said quietly. But it's not your fault, Essa. The way he said her name, Essa, made her eyes sting harder. That's what Madame Eunice used to call her when she was little. Daniel continued, she worked for your father to save my life. He promised not to kill me if she stayed loyal. Now she's gone because of me. Because of him. Vanessa covered her mouth, sobbing softly. I should have protected her. Don't do that, Daniel said. She knew what she was doing. She wanted to end this as much as you do. And she left me something, evidence, recordings, documents. Enough to bury your father for good. Vanessa straightened. Evidence? Yeah, Daniel said. Everything. His accounts, fake businesses, the people he paid off, even the ones he killed. She kept it all. For years. Where are you? She asked urgently. Not on the phone, he said. He's watching everyone. Let's meet at Eat and Bake by 10 tomorrow morning. Bring Marcus. Tell him to get a warrant. We don't need the court now, your father's bribed the judge. Marcus, who had been listening quietly beside her, took the phone. Daniel, this is Marcus Reed. I can't get a warrant without evidence. Then you'll get it tomorrow, Daniel replied firmly. But you have to move fast. He's already clearing things out. Marcus looked at Vanessa. We'll be there. Good, Daniel said, his tone heavy. Let's end this, Essa. For her. The call ended, leaving silence in the room. Vanessa turned to Marcus, her voice shaking. He's got the proof. Marcus nodded. Then tomorrow we finish this. The next morning, eat and bake cafe. The morning crowd buzzed with quiet chatter, the scent of coffee and pastries filling the air. Daniel sat in the far corner, hoodie up, eyes scanning the room nervously. When Vanessa and Marcus walked in, he stood immediately. Hey, he said, his voice low. You came. Vanessa hugged him without thinking, tears threatening to break again. You look just like her, she whispered. He smiled faintly. She said the same about you. They sat. Marcus placed a small recorder on the table. Let's hear what you've got. Daniel slid a flash drive across the table. Everything's on here. Your father's crimes, payments, murders, the judge he bought, and even Ethan's part in covering the old ones. Marcus plugged it into his laptop, brows furrowing as he scrolled through the files. Jesus Christ, he muttered. This is enough to burn him 10 times over. Vanessa leaned in, whispering, What about Ethan? Daniel sighed. He's been blackmailed for years. Your father owns him. Vanessa looked away, heart sinking. So he never stood a chance. Marcus closed the laptop. I'll get the warrant. By noon, the Federal Bureau had everything they needed. A search and arrest warrant for Vincent Moretti, organized crime, fraud, and multiple counts of murder. It was over. Or at least it should have been. Vincent was in his study when the alarms went off. His men rushed in. Boss, the feds are outside. It's Vanessa and her husband. Vincent's eyes narrowed. And then he asked coldly, Where's Daniel? Gone, boss. He's the one who leaked. Vincent's hand slammed the table. Find him. Now. Outside, the air was thick with tension. Marcus and Vanessa stood beside 2 unmarked FBI cars. Daniel was in the back seat, watching nervously. Marcus checked his gun. Backups in position. We go in clean, no casualties. Vanessa nodded, but her eyes were locked on the mansion. She whispered, almost to herself, No casualties doesn't include him. Before Marcus could reply, the first shot rang out. Then another. Vincent's men opened fire from the balcony, and chaos erupted. Bullets tore through the walls, the cars, the night. Daniel ducked for cover as the agents fired back. Vanessa. Stay down. Marcus shouted. But she didn't. She moved, fast, fearless, like she'd been waiting for this moment her whole life. They breached the front door together, the sound of gunfire echoing through the mansion. 2 bodyguards down. 1 left standing near the stairs. Marcus fired once, missed. The guard returned fire, grazing his arm. Vanessa shot twice, clean, sharp. The guard fell. Clear. Marcus yelled. They pushed deeper into the house, into the place where it all began. Vincent was sitting behind his desk, calm, almost expectant. His gun lay beside a half-empty glass of whiskey. Impressive, he said slowly as Vanessa and Marcus entered. You brought the circus. Hands where I can see them, Marcus ordered. Vincent raised his hands slightly, smirking. Careful, agent. You're in my house. Vanessa stepped forward, her gun steady. Not anymore. Vincent's eyes softened when he looked at her. So it's true. You betrayed your own blood. You stopped being my blood the day you killed her, Vanessa snapped. He smiled faintly. Ah, Elena. Always the soft one. Don't, Vanessa warned. Don't say her name. Why? He said, leaning back in his chair. Because it hurts? Because you still don't understand why I did it. She took a shaky breath. You killed her because she wanted to leave you. He laughed quietly. You think it was that simple? Marcus frowned. Vincent, you have the right to remain silent. Vincent cut him off. She was going to take you, Vanessa. She was going to disappear with you, my only heir. My bloodline. My legacy. She wanted to erase me. Vanessa's voice trembled. So you killed her and faked it as an accident. Your own wife. Vincent leaned forward, eyes blazing. I protected you. She would have turned you against me. She already had. Tears welled in Vanessa's eyes. She wanted to protect me from you. And look how that turned out, Vincent said coldly. You became me. No. Vanessa shouted. Then why are you holding that gun, Bambina? He whispered. Because justice failed? Because you needed to feel what I felt? Go ahead. Pull the trigger. Show me you're my daughter. Marcus moved forward. Vanessa, don't. But then Vincent's hand moved, fast, toward the gun on his desk. Marcus turned, aiming. A single gunshot shattered the air. Vincent slumped backward, a red bloom spreading across his chest. Smoke. Silence. Sirens outside. Vanessa stood frozen, gun trembling in her hand, eyes wide in disbelief. Marcus lowered his weapon slowly. The last bodyguard, still alive, fired once more from the doorway, missing Vanessa but hitting the wall. Marcus turned and shot him down instantly. Then, nothing but silence again. Vincent coughed weakly, blood staining his shirt. He smiled up at her, that same cruel, familiar smile. "You finally did it," he rasped. "My perfect little girl." Vanessa's hand shook harder. "You're a monster." Vincent's eyes flickered. "You made me proud." And then he was gone. Marcus stepped closer, gently taking the gun from her hand. "Vanessa," he whispered, "it's over?" But she didn't move. She just stared at the body, her father's, the devil she'd spent her whole life trying to defeat. Her voice was hollow when she finally spoke. "This wasn't justice," she said softly. "This was the ending I promised myself I'd never become." Marcus looked at her, eyes filled with both pain and admiration. "You became what you had to be," he said. Vanessa turned toward him, tears streaming down her face. "No," she whispered. "I became him." She dropped the gun and walked out of the house. Outside, dawn. Daniel stood near the police cars, watching as officers rushed in. He saw Vanessa coming down the steps, covered in dust and blood but standing tall. "Essa," he called softly. She stopped, looking at him. "It's done?" "It's done." Daniel nodded slowly. "Then maybe she can rest now." "My mom, your mom." Vanessa looked up at the sky, gray, cold, endless. "I hope so," she whispered. Marcus joined her, wrapping a hand around her shoulder. "Where do we go from here?" he asked quietly. She looked ahead, her voice calm but distant. "Somewhere he can't find me again." Marcus nodded and they walked toward the car, sirens fading behind them. Sometimes justice isn't served in courtrooms or headlines. Sometimes it's a daughter standing in the ashes of her father's empire, realizing that revenge doesn't free you, it changes you. This was the story of Vanessa Moretti, the daughter of a devil who finally met her mirror.